All right, let's see what this talks about it. Shit, I just forgot what year it was. So it can't sense. Okay, yeah, we're going to. Looks like the average speeds are about 42 miles an hour so far. No, usually celebrity deaths don't hit me that hard, but hearing about Hayden Panettiere, I'm just like, that felt like a real loss. Why does that one hurt the most? We collectively watched her grow up. I mean, a month before she died, or maybe even 2 weeks before she died, I was watching the commercial she was in as a kid. She was playing the Girl Scout and she was selling tools and power tools. And the lady kept asking, "Where are all the cookies?" And she did her parts very well. She says, "Would you like wrenches? Power tools, vroom, vroom." And I was like, oh yeah, that was her that was in that commercial. She was the cheerleader in Heroes. There was a lot going on, man. I never saw Nashville. I'm not gonna ever watch an episode, but she was the all-American girl. And then just like that, she's gone. You know, when Michelle Trachtenberg died, she was kind of standoffish and didn't really seem like she was any kind of warm or friendly. And so it came as a shock. It's like, what the hell happened? What was going on? Same asshole. But you get the feeling they don't make younger generations like they used to. And just you can't really blame them. But Hayden Panettiere, that one hurt. Because it was like I said, for the last couple of weeks, I was watching the commercial she was in, and then I was recalling some aspects of Heroes when I was watching My Hero Academia, or reading My Hero Academia. And I was like, man, this guy took a lot of stuff from, and I was starting to read through the synopsis. And then like a week later, she's dead. And I'm like, damn. Never saw it coming. 35 years old. She's married to the heavyweight champion of the world at one point, who is now the pillar of defiance in Ukraine. One of the pillars of defiance in Ukraine. Dr. Vitaly Klitschko. You know, Russian strongman ain't got nothing on a Ukrainian strongman. You can take that to the bank. And yes, I am making a joke about the Russian bank president or whatever he was, he's like, look, Putin, Boba, I love you, man, but you can't win this. And Boba ain't listening. Boba says, no, I gotta be right, even if it costs me the country. Anyway, Hayden Panettiere, never saw it coming. I didn't know she was struggling with so much pain. Not a super fan, but it just hurts because I literally watched her grow up. Like I said, with Michelle Trachtenberg, it was kind of like, eh. Kind of like that expression that said, dead, how do you know they were sick? And that's kind of how it is whenever these young ones die. And make no mistake, they both died of sickness. One died because her body quit on her, the other one died because her mind did. And we dismiss these things, you know, we say, oh, well, you know, I don't feel sorry for them. I do. You know, you assume just because they got fame and fortune, they got solutions. And they don't. People think that money provides solutions to problems, but sometimes all the money does is create more problems. Seems like the more you have of it, the more you need of it. Like you were doing right, you were doing okay when you were dirt poor and had problems getting food. Now you got a little money and all of a sudden the foundation's falling down around you. Somebody's got their hand out. Something went wrong with your health. If you believed in the supernatural, you'd almost think that money itself was cursed. What do they have going on here? That is a telecom box. I guess they're gonna... What is that though? That's a traffic signal. Maybe they'll finally get rid of that stupid cable that's been dangling down there for a couple of years. No, I'm talking, my muscles are hurting and I'm dizzy because it's 95 degrees out here and the air quality is still shit. And that's why. Here it is, 11 o'clock at night. Everybody's still driving around. Nothing ever slows down, man. And I can understand if there was something productive going on, but there's just useless bullshit happening right now. It's just people wasting gas while wasting time. How do I know this? Like I said, the pandemic taught me who the essential people are. I was out there and there was nobody else. I'd be out there to be a couple other people and they look miserable in their cars and they were not driving fast. It was like, I gotta be where I gotta be. And I'm not happy about it. I'm down. I never walked around late during the pandemic. What I was doing during the pandemic was well, you've seen it. I was distance walking. I miss it. I was doing like 10, 15 miles. Like I said, I was trying to work my way to 26. I would just slowly I'd add a couple miles here and there. What I learned is after 15, I can pretty much handle. 15 was my limit. Once I got to 15, man, it was just me. I was in willpower and autopilot. The thing that pissed me off the most was the day I decided to do my 26. It was 80 degrees outside and it climbed to like 90. And everybody was driving around. I said, okay, well, everything's shut down for the pandemic. Maybe everybody will stay home. No, these fuckers, they were out there just doing stupid shit. We're never going to have anything like the pandemic ever again. And what I mean by that is the government already shows that it would not enforce a shutdown. So the next pandemic is going to be worse. It's going to be a bunch of people fighting the government, doing stupid shit. I guess it's trying to tell me that's my first mile. Yep. Huh. It's kind of neat. I had to get a new watch. The Vivo Smart 4 just said nope. I had to charge it every day. And then what it was doing, it wouldn't let me store my GPS anymore. It would just say, nope, not locking onto the GPS. Then it wouldn't lock on to the phone itself. It would say, no, I can't, and the Bluetooth, something went funky with the Bluetooth. So it just died. Right now I got this is the 4Runner 55. Am I endorsing it and trying to sell it? No, it's the 4Runner 55. The Vivo Smart Floor didn't even last a year. I bought it last year and here I am with my new fitness watch. And we'll see how long this stupid thing lasts. I say stupid because, well, it's not stupid. I'm starting to kind of fall in love with this little watch. The only thing I don't like is, so if I look at the regular time, like the way it's showing right now, that's how I want the time to show. I want it to show like e-ink. And instead what the damn thing's doing is it's always showing dark. Can't change it. But I like the fact that it's got tactile buttons. I mean that it's got real buttons. It doesn't have like a tactile display like the last one did, where it was just me touching the screen and my fingers would be covered in glove and everything else. I got a squirrel up in that tree. So this is my first activity with this watch. We'll see how it goes. I used to have to set the GPS on the other one, and this one it just says, wait on, it automatically just starts putting the GPS in. And then it had all these different settings for the GPS. And I don't know what they mean. There's one that says Galileo, something says something else. Is that the name of the satellite network it's using? Who knows? They lock in. It says, hey, you're in North America. This is the one you need to be using. I'm like, okay. So, see how far I can get with this one. Oh, man. I think I was talking about this last time, how they're going to build this big ass house and the second floor is going to be empty. You got to understand, I'm pissed about the fact that I think I have a 2-ton air conditioner, 2.5 ton. These houses have to take like 2 of those units, so they have basically 5-ton air conditioning units. That's twice the amount of energy it takes to cool that house because it's so much bigger. And you have people who have bought these houses and the second floor is just empty, and that's just wasted air conditioning. It's wasted everything. It's wasted space, wasted air conditioning, wasted lighting. That's what future generations will judge us on. If we have any future generations. They're going to be looking out there and they're going to say, you guys wasted so much. That's what we would have thought of previous generations. You know, we had an oil crisis. They were talking about we were going to run out. When I was a kid, they were saying we were going to run out of oil in 50 years. We're going to run out of oil. We're going to run out of oil. We need to find alternatives. And the petrochemical company said, what are you guys talking about? We just found, and they just all exploring. And they were proud of themselves back in the 90s. ExxonMobil had this big building, and they showed us their supercomputer that was just taking all the GSAT data. And I'm laughing now because that big giant room could all easily fit on a blade server with compute to spare. Now we're doing the same goddamn thing all over again. Big giant floors filled with server racks that are supposed to be processing this big AI brain. And then someday the AI will fit on something as big and as ubiquitous as my watch here. I guess I can turn this off. Already turned itself off. But that's where I'm at. Anyway. Hayden Panettiere. That one hurt, man. She was a cutie. I'm not saying that Michelle Trachtenberg didn't have her own little charm, but whenever the young girls pass away, it's like the sacrificial lamb. The way people must have felt when Marilyn Monroe passed away, it was like, yeah, it's sad, it's tragic, but we didn't really know her. That's what it is. Pretty young girl passes away, and I'm just like, yeah, it's sad and tragic, but I really didn't know her. With Hayden Panettiere, she seemed approachable, though. Seemed like she had a great sense of humor. Michelle Trachtenberg, not so much. It's kind of weird that she acted in comedies, but she wasn't funny. She was just there. How you are really does come across on that camera. Like I said, I'm an asshole, and it comes across loud and clear every time I go out here and film. So it's hard for me to believe that there are people who can just utterly... No, they're completely different from the way they are. I think Kurtwood Smith's probably kind of an asshole. I think he knows how to pull it out, and he puts it in front of the... I think Gene Hackman was probably an asshole. I saw it in some of the interviews he did. I was like, man, why did you say that? I was like, you didn't have to say it like that. Bruce Willis is Bruce Willis. See, now my hips giving out. I can't do what I used to do, man. How far? 1 mile, 1.37 miles. Oh well. How accurate is this thing, you think? I don't know, man. I buy the new stuff and it... Okay, here we go. You know, this is what I wanted. This is quiet. This is what sensible, educated people do. I wish I lived in a neighborhood like this. But like I said, I'd just have an extra floor where I'd be wasting air conditioning. I forgot to put on mosquito repellent. I am not getting eaten up, surprisingly. I remember when they built this thing. And the guys were out here on a Saturday night because I was off of work and I decided to take a late night stroll. And I said, they ain't supposed to be working this late. And the guy says, I know. I said, I probably need to call this in. He said, yeah, I'm calling it in too. That was the other thing that made me wish I lived here. Man, it's quiet. Almost, I mean, it's almost, you can still hear the traffic coming off of Northwest Highway. But my neighborhood, someone's revving down the street, listening to music loud. They're out on the front porch having parties. Yeah, there you go. That's my street. The guy with the straight pipe. Straight pipe, small penis. I got that 20 extra horsepower. So I can make his red lights faster. And noisier. Dug that trench there and didn't bother to put a marker there that said, hey, watch out, we got a trench over here. And this is an erosion control issue. Somehow they were able to clean up the sludge off the sidewalk. And then there's Pinky. I don't know what else to call her, but she, like I said, she had pink lights all the time. Just gone. And you know what'll piss me off? Is the next person buys this house and tears it down again. That would tear it. You know, it's hard to believe that we had a super wet spring. I come down here and dry. Not even people's, not even the over, like I said, from the sprinklers, not even the overwash is making it through. Oh well, what was I listening to? What a Fool Believes. Seems apropos. So I'm about 2 miles away from Love Field Airport, and you can still hear the planes. The voluntary noise moratorium is supposed to be from, they somehow shaved it down to 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. I'm pretty sure that it was even bigger than that. It was probably 10 to 6, and somebody negotiated it down to what we got now. Maybe it was involuntary, but now it's voluntary. It's like, yeah, we'll try to police ourselves. And they just roll their eyes. I mean, we've had them rolling in here at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm not talking about like just one person was straggling. We're talking like 3 or 4. Because there's all sorts of delays. I need to look at all my old Dunhaven footage and see what house was over here. Or I'll look at the one from 11/4/2024 after the election. I kind of feel like Ben Affleck's brother in that Ghost movie. I'm just wandering around with a sheet on my head, and man, the sulfur smell. I'll get it eventually. We haven't had any rain in a long time, that's why it's not a high priority. But it's still wet down there. So my next quest, not anytime soon, but I'm gonna ask why we don't have speed bumps along this street. Seems like it'd be a no-brainer in a school zone. Or I mean, next to a school. I don't know, maybe people behave themselves over here. That's 2 miles. So every time it crosses a mile, it gives me a little bit of a buzz. So always when a good song comes on, there's jackassery afoot. Something going on over here. Oh, it's Cortez, that's why. Sidewalks are always in bad condition. There's another sprained ankle that's going to take months to heal. If you broke your ankle, I could sue the city. 38. Yeah, once you cross Clover, man, the jackassery grows. All right. A lot of zombies out here.
vacation. I was gone for 29 days to Spain.
Money, money, money. The OJs. I think it's called For the Love of Money. There's foolishness afoot. Still a lot of jackasses over here. It's kind of par for the course though, isn't it? What I never could figure out about this sign was, do they mean this side of the street anytime, or they mean on the other side of that sign anytime? Is that mile 3? Yep, mile 3. This side of sign, any side. Okay. That's pretty neat. Pretty painless too.